Hello, this is Mike Ingham of Radio 2, welcoming all Match Weekly readers to your very own Superstar Quiz. To celebrate the start of what should be a memorable soccer season leading to the World Cup finals in Spain, Match Weekly has brought together 3 top stars representing last season's major trophy winners, and they're going to battle it out for the title of Match Mastermind. So let's right away meet our star competitors. And first of all, from the champions of Europe, the League Cup holders Liverpool, would you welcome the man who scored the winner in the final against Real Madrid, Alan Kennedy.
Hi there, everybody.
Alan, can we expect a few more goals from you this season?
Well, I hope so. I'm keeping my special ones for the cup finals, but with a bit of luck, I'm hoping to beat my record, which is 5 in the season.
Well, we'll all look forward to that. And we go now to the team that took over from Liverpool as the Football League champions, Aston Villa, and the man who scored 21 goals and ended the season as an England player, Peter Withe.
Hello, Mike.
Peter, can Villa retain the championship?
I think so, but I think it's going to be a bit more difficult now. Once you've won it once, everyone's trying to beat you then.
I'm sure everyone wishes you all the very best for the coming months. And finally, after one of the most exciting matches ever seen at Wembley, Spurs emerged as the FA Cup winners, beating Manchester City 3-2 in the replay. And here's a man who played a major part in that triumph, Glen Hoddle.
Hello there.
Glen, can England qualify for those World Cup finals?
I think so, yes. I think we've got over the major obstacle by beating Hungary. I think we're almost definitely there now, yes.
Rest assured the whole of England will be behind you. Well, let's get straight into the quiz, and we're going to be recalling some of the great games of the last few seasons and listen to some memorable goals as well. And why not see if you can beat the Stars? There's going to be a chance for you to win a super prize. We'll have more about that later. But now let's get on with the quiz itself, and round 1 is called Stop the Action. The players will each listen to some commentary from a famous match, then we're going to freeze the action at a vital point. Then I'll want to know firstly which game it was, what happened next, and there's going to be an extra bonus question, and 2 marks for every correct answer. We start with Alan Kennedy. Alan, have a listen to this.
A long kick from Tilkowski. Headed away by Jack Charlton down to Nobby Stiles. Stiles with a long ball through to Ball, and Ball will run for all he's worth after this one. He turns it in. Can Hurst get a shot in?
Alan, can you identify that game for us?
Yes, it was the World Cup of 1966, England versus West Germany.
Absolutely right. And what happened next?
Jeff Hurst turned, the shot went against the bar, came down, and the ball went over the line, and there was a consultation between the linesman and the referee, and finally the referee gave it as a goal.
OK, let's see if you're right.
Can Hurst get a shot in? There's a chance for Jeff Hurst, and he's hit the bar. It must be a goal. I would have thought that went in, but he's not given it. I thought that hit the bar and went in, Maurice Edelstone. I'm not certain. Yes, it's given. It's given. England are in the lead.
4 out of 4 points so far. For 2 more points, who had England defeated in the semi-final?
I think it was Argentina.
No, I'm afraid not. It was Portugal. 2 goals by Bobby Charlton saw England through. Still a good start for you. 4 points out of 6. And so on to Peter Withe. Peter, here's your action.
We'll wait to see, and Stewart runs up and hits it. Oh, what a save by Clements! Oh, that may well have saved the day for Liverpool. A superb shot from Ray Stewart, and that was going like a bullet into the top right-hand corner, and Clements...
Right, Peter, what was that occasion?
It was the League Cup final, 1980-81, West Ham versus Liverpool.
And obviously at Wembley. 2
Yes.
marks for you. What happened next?
After the shot, it went for a corner. It was saved, went for a corner. The corner was knocked in. Alvin Martin headed the ball. It was handled off the line by Terry McDermott. And from the resulting penalty, Ray Stewart scored, and it went into extra time and then a replay.
West Ham have a corner deep inside the area, hits the crossbar, and it's a penalty. It's handball, and McDermott had to handle that one. And we've got a penalty here. In injury time, it's Ray Stewart against Ray Clements, and it's 1-1.
And Liverpool, of course, won the replay.
That's right.
And Ray Stewart now mentioned on that commentary, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The third question for you is, from which club did West Ham sign him?
Dundee United.
6 out of 6 for Peter Withe. And let's see if Glen Hoddle can match those impressive starts.
Such scenes you wouldn't believe here at Wembley. On the far side, Arthur Albiston covers his eyes with his hands. He can't believe it. Tommy Kavanagh's run out the United trainer. He can't believe it. Nobody can believe it. Because now, with a minute and a half to go, United have come back.
Right, Glenn, what was that match?
It was the Arsenal-Manchester United Cup final of 1979.
Correct. Can you remember what happened next?
Well, Arsenal virtually went up the other end of the pitch, and Graham Rix crossed. Alan Sunderland scored the winner for Arsenal.
Here comes Brady, though, for Arsenal. They still perhaps want to finish it off before extra time. The ball floats high across the area. The shot comes in. It's there. Alan Sunderland. It's 3-2 for Arsenal. Leave it.
Dramatic end, wasn't it? Good
Yes,
work by Liam Brady too. And your third question, see if you can get the maximum as well. After a marathon semi-final against Liverpool, who eventually scored the goal that took Arsenal to Wembley?
Brian Talbot.
6 out of 6 for Glen Hoddle. And so at the end of the first round, the scores stand like this. Alan Kennedy has 4 points, and Peter Withe and Glen Hoddle both tie after a maximum. Well, now there's a chance for you at home to join in by entering our special Mystery Voice Challenge. You'll find full details inside your copy of Match Weekly. We want you to listen carefully to the first of our 3 mystery voices and tell us, who is this?
A big northern club bought me for a record fee as a 20-year-old. So I didn't settle and I moved to the south coast and completed last season as my club's leading goal scorer. Also making my international debut for Era.
The voice of a famous footballer? Well, don't forget there'll be another mystery voice for you to identify next week. Remember to order your copy of Match Weekly with your second free record with round 2 of our Mastermind quiz, and in that you'll hear some golden goals. See you then. Hello, welcome again from Mike Ingham of Sport On 2 to Match Weekly's very own Superstar Football Quiz. We have 3 top players per Mastermind, and a reminder of the situation at the end of round 1. The players couldn't have made a more impressive start. Out in front with 6 points, Glen Hoddle and Peter Withe. Alan Kennedy is just 2 points behind. Well, round 2 is entitled Golden Goals, and we're going to go straight into the action. And Alan Kennedy first. Listen, if you would please, to this memorable goal, and I'll ask you some questions about it.
He does find David Geddes. David Geddes on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. He's got Nelson in front of him. He's gone outside. Nelson turns it flat. Willie Young's there. The chance is there. It's there. Roger Osborne has done it. Flip Twitchtown. And they have scored 1-0.
Well, Alan, that was the Ipswich-Arsenal FA Cup final for 2 points. When was that?
That was in 77.
No, I'm afraid it was 1 year later, 1978. So no points there. The goal scorer, of course, was Roger Osborne. Which lower division club does he play for now?
Don't know. No.
Well, Roger Osborne, Alan, is with Colchester United now. Who was in the Arsenal goal that day?
Pat Jennings.
And that's a correct answer. 2 points from 6, Alan. On now to Peter Withe, and a golden goal for you, Peter.
Leaves it to Joey Jones, just 10 yards inside the United half. Jones a long ball forward. It reaches Kennedy. And there's Case! Case has equalised! A tremendous goal! 2 goals seconds.
Peter, that was the Liverpool-Manchester United FA Cup final. But what year was it played, and what was the final result?
I think it was 78-79 season. Sorry, no, it wasn't. 77-78. And the final result was Manchester United 2-1.
It will give you 1 point there, because the year was 1977. It was actually the season 76-77, but you got the right result, 2-1 to Manchester United. So you can get 2 points now. United's left-back that day, Arthur Olberston, was playing his first ever cup tie. Whose place had he taken because of injury?
Stuart Houston.
That's right, 3 marks already. See if you can get 5 out of 6. Name the Liverpool and Manchester United managers on that day.
Tommy Doherty. Paisley. Bob Paisley.
Absolutely correct. 5 out of 6 for Peter Withe. And a first golden goal for Glen Hoddle to listen to.
So Nottingham Forest going forward once more. Robertson, the danger to Malmo. Goes outside the defender. He cuts it back. There's danger here. The header comes in. And it's there! Nottingham Forest have done it with Trevor Francis. Oh, what a moment for Trevor Francis in his very first European...
Glen Hoddle, memorable moment that, but what major game was it?
It was the European Cup final against Malmo. Was it 1978?
Almost, but not quite. Malmo against
Lost Forest.
Nottingham Forest. It was 1979. So we'll give you 1 mark there, I think. Let's see if you can get 2 extra points now. The English manager of Malmo was whom? English manager with a Swedish club.
Bob Houghton.
Bobby Houghton.
Houghton, that's right.
And 2 more points for you now. See if you can get the 5 out of 6. The Malmo goalkeeper was Jan Moller. And he played in the English second division last season. For which team?
I think you've got me there. I've no idea. I'll have a guess. Bristol Rovers.
I think we must give you 1 point, actually, because you're so close. It was Bristol City.
Oh.
Second division they were last season, of course, but they're in the third now. Around we go again, and
He's played out left to Devonshire in the inside left position, 10 yards from the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. He'll take it to the byline and pulls the cross back into dangerous one. It's played forward. West Ham have got it. Cross and Pearson were both in there, and as the ball came back out again, it was Brooking who...
Well, Alan, of course, that was Trevor Brooking scoring the winning goal for West Ham, indeed the only goal of the 1980 FA Cup final against Arsenal. Who was the Arsenal captain that day?
I'd say Pat Rice.
Pat Rice, correct, for 2 points. The youngest player ever to appear in a cup final played in that game. Who was he?
Yes, it was Paul Allen.
Yes, 2 more points, 4 out of 4. Let's see if you can get the 6. Following season, as the FA Cup holders, West Ham were defeated in the European Cup Winners' Cup by the eventual winners. Who were they?
Dynamo Tbilisi.
Dynamo Tbilisi from the Soviet Union. 6 out of 6, Alan. Well done. So Alan Kennedy coming back well.
Fumble forward, looking for McElroy. McElroy's inside the area. He's still there. He must score. McElroy has scored for Manchester United. Oh, what scenes we've got here!
Peter, that was the Arsenal-Manchester United FA Cup final of 1979. Sammy McElroy scoring 2-2, but who'd scored United's first goal?
The first goal was scored by Jimmy Greenough.
It was the defender who scored, actually, Gordon McQueen, the man who's had to mark you many times, I'm
That's
sure.
right, yes.
See if you can get 2 points from this next question. Who was the United goalkeeper that day?
It was Roach. He'd come in, I think, as a replacement.
No, it was the man still in possession, Gary Bailey.
Oh.
2 points going
Doing
for you
well
now on a third. It was Arsenal's first cup success, this, since 1971. Who did they defeat in 1971 at Wembley?
Liverpool.
And that, of course, was the double season for Arsenal, wasn't it? 2 marks for you, Peter.
Oh, thanks.
And to complete this round, another golden goal for Glen Hoddle.
Boyer by way of Alan Ball trying to go forward. Good tackle coming in there from Barrett. Barrett forward, Woodcock, ball breaks to Birtles. Birtles going forward here for Nottingham Forest. Birtles still got it. Gary Birtles! 2-1, Nottingham Forest.
Glenn, that was one of your England colleagues, Gary Birtles, scoring in the 1979 Football League Cup final for Nottingham Forest. Who were the opponents?
Was it Southampton?
Who was Southampton's captain that day?
Was it Alan Ball?
Alan Ball, that's 4 out of 4. Let's see if you can get the full 6 here. Forest were the League Cup holders at the time. I wonder if you can remember who they defeated in the previous year's final. I'm sure Peter Withe knows this.
Can't think of it. No, I've lost it. Was it Manchester City?
No, it took some settling, actually, and then Forest finally beat Liverpool. So 4 out of 6 for you, Glenn. And so we reach the end of our golden goals round, and it's really tight. Alan Kennedy has pulled up now to 12 points. Peter Withe, 1 more, he's got 13, and the man on 14. Well, now a chance for you at home to listen to our... You'll find full details of this competition inside Match Weekly. Can you identify this famous player?
Began my career at Sunderland but moved to Peterborough without making a league appearance. I have made over 500 appearances with my present club in the Midlands, and this is my testimonial year.
And we'll be playing you the final Mystery Voice next week, when our Superstar quiz will reach its exciting climax. On your third free record, you'll discover who the match mastermind is for 1981. So don't forget to order your copy from the newsagent. Be sure not to miss it. Welcome back from Mike Ingham to the climax of our competition to find the Match Weekly Mastermind 81. After 3 rounds, it couldn't be closer. Alan Kennedy has 12 points, Peter Withe 13, and Glen Hoddle out in front with 14. Can Glen hang on to his lead and win the match trophy? Well, before we find out, we're going to give you the third and final part of your own special Mystery Voice competition. So listen carefully to this voice.
Wolverhampton Wanderers have 2 good reasons, and Manchester City 1 good reason to remember me in 1981. I scored a hat-trick in my international debut for England, under-21s, in the fog at Leicester, against Bulgaria.
If you can name that very famous player, you'll find the entry form in this week's Match Weekly, and don't forget there are some fabulous prizes to be won. And now let's get straight on with the final round of our contest, which really puts the players under pressure with 90 seconds of quick-fire questions. And in the true mastermind fashion, they can pass if they don't know the answer. So, Alan Kennedy, you're the first one in the hot seat. You have 90 seconds on general football. Starting now. TV presenter Jimmy Hill was once a manager of which club?
Coventry.
Correct. Who beat Southampton 7-1 last season?
Watford.
Yes, in the League Cup. Only one country has played in the final stages of all 10 World Cups. Name them.
Brazil.
Correct. Who was the captain of Aston Villa last season?
Dennis Mortimer.
Correct. The scorer of the winning goal in the 1973 FA Cup final is now the manager of Sheffield United. Name him.
Ian Porterfield.
Correct. Who was the Argentinian that Leeds United signed from Sheffield United last summer?
Alex Sabella.
Correct. Who was the leading scorer in the 1978 World Cup?
Pass.
Which Welsh international scored 2 goals against Scotland last May?
Phillips.
No, Ian Walsh. Which current third division side appeared in the 1975 FA Cup final?
Fulham.
Yes. The European Footballer of the Year in 1975 was a Russian. Name him.
Blocking.
Correct. Which team are known as the Quakers?
Darlington.
Correct. Which Yorkshire club are known as the Tigers?
Rotherham.
No, Hull City. Rochdale have played in the League Cup final. True or false?
True.
Yes, they did in 1962. Who was the first teenager to be transferred for £1 million in this country?
Paul Allen.
No, almost. It was Clive Allen. Which German club does Swiss midfield star René Botterin play for?
Carl Siena.
No, Cologne. And at the end of that round, Alan Kennedy, you scored 10 points. You passed on 1. The leading goal scorer in the 1978 World Cup was the Argentinian Mario Kempes. Peter Withe, it's your turn now. Your score's on 13, and you've got 90 seconds on general soccer knowledge. Starting now. Of which club is Jack Charlton the manager?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Correct. Who scored the winning goal for Spurs in last May's Cup final?
Winning goal.
Pass.
Alan Ball played 100 games for England. True or false?
False.
Correct. He played 82 matches. Which team plays at Ashton Gate?
Bristol City.
Correct. Peter Osgood made cup final appearances for 2 teams. One was Chelsea. Name the other.
Southampton.
Correct. Which team were the third division champions last season?
Rotherham.
Correct. Who is Scotland's most capped player?
Dennis Law.
No, Kenny Dalglish. Who is the current manager of Manchester United?
Currently. Atkinson.
Correct. Which club are known as Pompey?
Portsmouth.
Correct. Who scored Liverpool's winner in the 1981 European Cup final?
Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, Alan Kennedy. Irish international Terry Cochrane plays for which first division club?
Middlesbrough.
Correct. The first ever European Footballer of the Year was English. Can you name him?
Stanley Matthews.
That's right. Who is the manager of Barnsley?
Norman Hunter.
Correct. Jan Tomaszewski was a Polish international. What position did he play?
Goalkeeper.
Correct. Liverpool first won the European Cup in 1977 in which city?
The European Cup.
Yes.
Wembley.
No, Rome. In what year was the first Wembley final played?
Wembley final. Pass.
Only one Irishman is a current First Division manager. Who?
Teddy Neal.
That's right. And at the end of your round, Peter Withe, you scored 12 points, passing on 2. The scorer of the winning goal for Spurs in the Cup final last May, and Glen Hoddle was dying to tell you, Ricardo Villa. And in what year was the first Wembley final played? That was way back in 1923. Glen Hoddle, the man going into the third round as the leader with 14 points, 90 seconds on general soccer knowledge. Starting now. Who were the first football club to organise a rugby league team?
Fulham.
Correct. Which club does Tommy English play for?
Coventry.
Correct. German star Franz Beckenbauer spent a short time playing in America. For which club?
Was it New York Cosmos?
Correct. Name one of Laurie Cunningham's former clubs.
Orient.
Correct. Bobby Moore played 108 games for England. How many goals did he score? 1, 2 or 3?
2.
Correct. Who was the manager of Watford?
Graham Taylor.
Correct. Liverpool's Abby Cohen has international caps for which country?
Israel.
Correct. With which club did Emlyn Hughes begin his career?
Blackpool.
Correct. Who was the new manager of Coventry City?
Dave Sexton.
Correct. Which country were the first winners of the World Cup in 1930?
Uruguay.
Correct. Which footballer played against Liverpool in the 1974 FA Cup final and for them in the 1977 final?
Pass.
Which club does Phil Boyer play for?
Southampton.
No, Manchester City. How many FA Cup final appearances has Kenny Dalglish made?
1.
No, none. Former Forest player Larry Lloyd became a manager last season of which club?
Should know that one. Pass.
Who is the current manager of Queen's Park Rangers?
Terry Venables.
Correct. Who scored the penalty in last season's England-Scotland game?
John Robertson.
Correct. And at the end of your round, Glenn, you've scored 12 points, passing on 2. The player to have played against Liverpool in the 1974 FA Cup final and for them in the 77 final, and you'll get a dig in the ribs from him as well, I think, Terry McDermott. And the former Forest player, Larry Lloyd, became a manager last season of Wigan Athletic. Well, that brings us to the end of the competition with the scores. In third place, Alan Kennedy, 22 points. Second, Peter Withe on 25. And the winner of our Soccer Style quiz, a score of 26 points, Glen Hoddle. So, Glen Hoddle, the first Match Weekly Mastermind. Many congratulations, and here's your marvellous silver trophy.
Thanks very much, Mike. Just hope it's not the last one I pick up this season. I'd just like to wish all the Match Weekly readers a happy new season, and let's hope we've got a lot to look